Political science for class 12th. The topic is security in the contemporary world. Security is the situation which is endangered to the core values, to the life of the people, to the mankind. So it is threat to the life of the people, any kind of threat. And it has become very important issue in the world. It is assumed as something that is out of control of an ordinary citizen. And it means freedom from threat also. The analysts would assume the threat to core values in a democratic country. So there are many meanings and it is taken in various ways as to what extent the security is concerned. So we can say security is something very dangerous that can endanger the core value to such an extent that are irreparable. So something concrete, solid, effective needs to be done to prevent such situation. So security is related to any kind of danger to the people, and they are to such an extent that they become irreparable. So for preventing such situation, something very effective is to be done by the governments and by the world as a whole. So there are various notions of security, and mainly there are two: traditional notion of security and non-traditional notion of security. So how security is taken, or what is the meaning, okay, taken of security traditionally, or what is traditional meaning of the security. So this is also divided into two parts: external and internal. So external traditional notion of security is the one or that type of threat to the security which is mainly related to the external countries or their attack, especially the military attacks. So in the traditional frame, the danger from military threat, okay, is the greatest danger to a country's security, and this comes from the other countries which through its military actions, okay, threatens the core value of sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity of the country. And such military actions can even endanger the life of ordinary citizens or residents of the country. And naturally, in a war, it is highly unlikely that only soldiers would die or would be hurt. And in all the likelihood, men and women who are ordinary citizens, they are soft targets and are also made victims in a war. Okay, so what can be done? In response to a threat of a war, any government has at least these three options, like to surrender. Okay, to surrender means to accept the defeat, and to check the other side from an attack by raising the war cost to an unacceptable level, means to make the other country realize that if war takes place, it will be of no use, it will be so devastating that everything would be destroyed, and the revival of such things would be so difficult and would not be possible. So to avoid that situation, the war could be prevented. Then another way is to defend itself when the war actually starts, so that the aggressor may not be able to attain its objective and to defeat the aggressive state altogether. And the government may have choice of surrender when actually in a war, but this may not be promoted as country's defense policies. That is not a right thing, good thing, prestigious thing. So security policy is concerned with preventing war, okay, which is known as deterrence, and with limiting or ending the war, which is called defense. To defend ourselves, to face the war, and to not let the other country victorious. Okay, and there is another element that is called balance of power. Balance of power means that is related to all the countries, big or small, especially with small countries, when they see around them that the neighboring countries, they are more powerful, geographically so big, population wise also so huge, militarily, economically, and technologically so much ahead of them. So what do? And they have this feeling that if not now, but in future, such country might be a threat to the existence, to the security of small countries. So what do they do? Or this is what this is prevented by maintaining balance of power. Balance of power means to equalize the country militarily, economically. So the steps, the efforts are taken in this direction. Okay, and for this they build up military power along with the economic and technological power. Okay, as they will form the basis of countries what military power, if it is technologically and economically advanced and rich. All right, then another thing is which can be chosen by the government to deal with the external threat to security is alliance building. Alliance building means to form the groups or to join the groups of countries that are more powerful, more advanced, militarily very strong, and they will give assurance to protect such countries in case of any danger, any threat, any military attack takes place. Okay, so with such assurance, they join the alliances or the group of countries. Okay, and most of these alliances, they are what? They have formal written treaties based on clear identification of potential threatening countries. Okay, and countries from military alliances to revitalize their effective power strength against other possible military alliance threats. And these alliances are basically based on the national interest of different countries. Okay, and national interest change with the change in time. For instance, the US supported the Islamic military in Afghanistan when? After Soviet intervention in 1979. Okay, but when the Islamic militants led by Al Qaeda attacked in 2001, attacked on WTC, so the US initiated military action against them. So one time one group will be favored as long as it is fulfilling the interest of the powerful country, and it may change when the same group endangers the interest of that superpower or that powerful country. So what is there now? So the traditional notion of security therefore includes threats which come from outside a country's border. Okay, and this is so because the global system is a brutal area where no centralized machinery can control the behavior of global actors. And within a country or borders, the governments act as a regulatory body for controlling any threat or violence. But this is only within a country. And at the global level, there is no such acknowledged authority. Although we know that we have United Nations as a global authority, but we know in reality this is not as powerful as it should be. So the UN as of today, exercises only such powers as its members allow or follow its authority. Okay, so what is needed? Each country is responsible for its own country. Thank you. Rest we'll do in the next lecture.